Hello, everyone. My name is Josiah Manners. I'm a 10th grade communication arts major here at Dreyfus School of the Arts. And today I am joined by the one and only Miss Lauren McKenzie,
Hey,
and
Josiah.
she has agreed to sit down and talk with me just about her Dreyfus experience and her life post-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, can you, for everyone who's watching, just give a little introduction of who you are?
Absolutely. I'm 33 years old. I went to Dreyfus 15 years ago. I haven't been back in this building since then,
Wow.
so it feels very surreal. I have two kids. I moved to Cleveland, Ohio about 6 years ago for autism resources for my son Keegan, who is 12, and I have a 13-year-old as well. When I moved to Cleveland is kind of when my career kind of shifted and changed. But I started getting back into the arts right around when I was like 25 years old. So
Wow.
I kind of took a break, had my kids very young. But Dreyfus definitely laid the foundation for everything that has happened since then.
That's awesome. And I know you started to get into a little bit of it, but what did Dreyfus mean to you, maybe as a visual arts student or just, with your overall student life?
I stumbled quite a bit, my senior year of high school. Kind of went off and did some exploring, some experimenting of things. But for me, I think even in that time and before that, my relationships with the teachers were the thing that kind of carried me through.
Yeah.
And even with the show coming up on Saturday, I have so many of them coming. And I mean, even telling my family and my friends, it's like, my art teachers are coming. That's super exciting. Even at 33 years old, like I still have a relationship with them. So I think being here, especially being a weird, introverted, creative person, like this is where I felt super safe, being in this building.
Yeah, a lot of students, and I know I can even speak for myself, where a lot of us, we all think and we act differently, but this is definitely a place where not only we know that we can be safe with who we are, but we get to celebrate who we are and just be our weird, quirky selves at times.
Yes.
So even with that, how has Dreyfus translated into your life, maybe as an artist, again, in your life in adulting, as a parent, maybe?
I don't know as much as parenting. I mean, I did have my boys very young, at 19 and 20, so it was literally right after high school, which is not how I planned it, but it's the way things happened. But I think that the fact that I didn't go on to art school after Dreyfus, I think the tools that I learned here and the relationships that I had, I think that carried through. And I think because I didn't have education past this, I was holding on to a lot of things that I was taught here. Yeah. And of course, those things have been explored upon. They have evolved. They have grown. But that it really didn't lay the foundation for how I thought about my practice. Yeah. And I mean, I had Miss Christos, who is no longer with us, but Miss Christos, voice in the back of my head, especially in the beginning when I started my career, and Miss Grandusky, who is one of my favorite art teachers here. She's awesome. And Mr. Griffin, who is no longer here, because when I struggled my senior, they were the ones that were just like, kind of like, Lauren, like this is important. So I still kind of feel like I carry them with me sometimes when I'm thinking about things. And even when I'm stepping into certain parts of success in my career, I think about them. It's like, I hope they're also proud of the journey that I've been on too.
Yeah, I know that's definitely a very important aspect of Dreyfus life here.
Yeah.
Is, even though we're a relatively small school, and some people may frown upon that, that gives our teachers the opportunity to grow and create those relationships and bonds with students. I know, even for me right now, I know right off the top of my head, Miss Lopez, who, Miss Lopez, she's still here. Yes, and she's one, I had her last year in my freshman year, and she taught my mother when my mother attended here, and so it was like, wow,
it's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I know you talked about how Dreyfus impacted you, and so what's your favorite or most memorable experience or moment here at Dreyfus?
Okay, so it didn't happen in the building, but it was a trip that we took, and Mr. Griffin was on it, Miss Grandusky, and Miss Gifford, who was working here at the time. It was an arts trip that we took to Aix-en-Provence in southeast of France. Mm-hmm. They collaborated also with Micah, and we were there for 3 weeks. That was I talk about that, like even in interviews with other artists, that like that trip shifted something in me, that like I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And we had an art show that was there. I think just also seeing Picasso's castle. I'm not a fan of now, but even, you know, seeing Cezanne Studio. So like being there with the teachers and like learning from them, but also having these moments, like we got to be in our own like studio spaces throughout the day. So like it wasn't in the building, but it was with these teachers and other students that like that trip for me, I think we took that my junior year into my senior year, and that was life-changing for me.
Wow. Yeah, because it's definitely that moment. I know a lot of students here who have had that moment where it was like, this is what I want to do, or it was that really made this not just an art area, but it turned it into a passion, something that you wanted to continue on with. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I think the school that also gives us the opportunity that I think some people go to, you know, public schools or other magnet schools where they're not given the opportunity to explore their passions. So they get to college and then realize that this is not the thing they want to do, but we get to test that out here. And then I think a lot of people are testing that out here and like, oh, this is actually, I want to keep and continue doing this thing. Yeah. Which is a privilege.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, like you said, amazing that we really have the opportunity to try out what we want to. And it's like, if it doesn't work, there's other, you know, avenues. And even for me as a communication arts major, we're not just confined to communications. You know, we're working with visual artists. We're working with students in digital media. We're working on pieces with dance
majors. You get to tip your toes in other areas. Yeah.
And
cool.
So just with that cohesive nature of our school, I think that's what definitely makes that experience, you know, worthwhile, but also something that, like you said, you know, you hold on to. And so I know this may seem a little negative, but I know, but you know, what's one thing that you wish you had at, you know, during your Dreyfus experience, or maybe something that you had that you wish you had more of?
I think, you know, being 33, having children of my own that are teenagers, I wish I had a better sense of self when I was here. I think that there's things that I could have taken more, like I just feel like I would have been able to hold on to more opportunities and really utilize the tools that were given to me here. You know, you're in high school, you think you know everything, or sometimes you do. I mean, especially your generation, I think that you guys are learning so much from our mistakes, and it's beautiful to see where your guys' minds are at. I respect it a lot, but I think there was so much of myself, I was not grounded at all. So I wish that when I was here that I had more of a foothold on who I was. But, you know, I was young, so you're still figuring that out. But I do think that I wish I had more of an understanding of self so that I could utilize the tools that were given to me more here.
Yeah, I definitely get that, because of course being here, like you said, we're here because it's like, okay, I want to do this, but it's also a formative experience because not only are you becoming the artist or the public speaker or the dancer that you hope to, you know, aspire to be, but it's also helping you to become the person that you will be in the future. And I think one of the biggest things that I know I definitely say, and different people who have attended, they've also shared that Dreyfus is a place, it's not that we're trying to get you to a certain point. We're not trying to make you the best artist that ever graced, you know, the face of the planet, or the best dancer or the best public speaker ever. It's always been about, you know, reaching you where you are, and then helping you to get where you want to go. And I think that's amazing. And, you know, hearing your story about, you know, even with the mistakes that you made, how there were still people here who were devoted to support you and, you know, walked with you all the way through. And I know that's...
They wanted to kick my butt.
I'm sure, but,
they
you know...
wanted to kick my butt.
But, you know, it's just, even with that, the dedication that, you know, our school has, the different resources that are extended, even with the foundation, a lot of resources that we would have otherwise probably not had have now been accessible to us. But that's awesome. Going about your life as an artist, can you sort of tell me, I'm really interested to know, like, what's a typical day for you?
Lately, it's crazy. I feel like I've been running for what seems like months. I mean, I've been painting, still on my body. I've been painting for the last 10 years, full time. It's wonderful. I mean, I'm a single mom and I get to support my kids with my career and as an artist, and it feels like a dream come true because it is. But, I'm a mom of, a child with autism, so that definitely plays into how I go about my day-to-day life. But I'm in the studio every single day.
Wow.
While my kids are in school. I mean, the pandemic definitely has shifted and changed those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, even my son is here with me on this journey to like see me set up and get ready for the gallery.
That's amazing.
Right now, there's still that hustle that's happening. So I'm doing a ton of work still by myself with help of people that love me. So getting stuff ready for shows takes hours and hours of wrapping and varnishing and prepping and photo work and emails and prepping PDFs and all of that stuff. But I'm in the studio as much as I can, as often as I can, pretty much every single day. I live, breathe my work. And if I spend too much time away out of my studio, I feel off. I don't feel like myself. So I'm in the studio pretty much. I'll take my kids to school. They're at school by 8:30, and I'm in the studio by 9.
Wow.
And if it's my day to pick them up from school, I'm out of the studio by 2. And some days I get to come back later at night, and I'm there till 1, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Painting. There's some sacrifices to it, but the things that I've gained from being able to create full time and do it, where I get to make money from it has been an incredible blessing and a huge privilege, and like one that I definitely do not take for granted.
Yeah. And so can you tell me a little bit about what is it for you that not only connects you to your art, but that keeps you with that passion and that drive? Like, I know I've taken care of what I need to do, and now I'm headed back to the studio to do this again or to continue that project, to refine. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I think motherhood for sure is at the core of that. And I think, I messed up my senior year here, and for a while that was a part of my motivation, proving to myself that despite my struggles towards the end of my stay here, that I could still accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. But now I feel like the motivation is my children and this enjoyment that I have creating. I think, a lot of people do it for fame and the fortune, which is totally fine if that's your thing.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, I'm totally for it. It's just not for me. I think, especially for my mental health, I think it is important for me to paint every day as much as I can. It really is. I can't overstate this enough. It is the thing that saves my life. It is the thing that keeps me sane. I don't know. Obviously it's a means of making money too. So like being able to provide for my kids, and also just, I want them to know that they can be parents and also not be selfish, but also live for themselves as well. Like, I think it's important that like I can be a great mom, but I can also have my own career and be someone outside of motherhood. So I feel like myself is my motivation as well, along with my kids, because I actually genuinely enjoy this thing that I'm doing.
That's amazing. And lastly, I know you sort of touched on, again, the mistakes that you made and some of those mishaps that you had, but what would be your advice, not only to students here at Dreyfus, but to maybe up-and-coming youth artists, or even to the adults who may be watching this, maybe one thing that you've learned on your journey so far that, you wish that you could share to other people?
There's a couple things, but I think surrendering is a big thing for me. Not giving up for sure, but surrendering in the sense of like you're not really in control. And I think also grace. I feel like I was super hard on myself a lot of the times, even in those mistakes, but I think the moments where I gave myself grace and space to grow in those moments is when then I started to flourish more. And then when more blessings came my way and more opportunities came my way. So I think really I wish that more people would do is just take better care of yourself in the way of just like accepting certain things about yourself and be more gracious with the process, because sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. And I feel like I had my first child at 19. I struggled, the last year here, but like here I am, and like, no, I'm not super rich, but like I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
And like that to me is like the ultimate success, because I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. And I think a lot of that has come about because I've grown to be more gracious with myself and the people around me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're
That was a
welcome.
lot. Wow, that was amazing. Well, thank you for sharing this
You're
moment
welcome.
with me. I know there's some things I'm definitely taking away from this, but again, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
Awesome.
I hope.